And we're back at the Mistral Resort and Casino, bringing you guys heads-up short deck poker action here between Xuan and Jason Kuhn. Jason Kuhn coming into this heads-up match with a pretty commanding chip lead here. He has about a 3-1 chip lead over his opponent.
He's left, but he's covered with chip.
You want me to put it up?
We're coming to you live from Montenegro.
Bet 300. Call.
No all-in. No all-in. No.
It's betting a call, and Xuan gets the bad news there. This is my first time in Montenegro. It's a beautiful, beautiful country. And the Mistral Resort and Casino is very nice. Great spa, fantastic buffet.
5.5.
Rooms are very nice, and of course, nice casino and a lot of poker action. If you're just tuning in and you're wondering what you're watching right now, we are now heads up in a 1 million Hong Kong dollar buy-in tournament. That's right, 1 million Hong Kong dollars. That's equal to about 127,000 US dollars. First place in this tournament, 28,102,000 Hong Kong dollars. That comes out to about 3.58 million USD. This heads-up match between Jason Kuhn and Xuan. Jason Kuhn actually final tabled the opening event of this series. It was a 250,000 Hong Kong dollar buy-in short deck event. Xuan, though, has just been doing very, very well, apparently, in the side games out here. He's the biggest winner in the cash games during this tournament series as Jason Kuhn turns the nut straight against Xuan. Xuan may want to continue to fire here. He does have a pair of nines. He also has the nut club blocker if another club comes on the river.
Call.
Just a call from Jason Kuhn here, setting the trap. The river is a 7 of clubs. Jason Kuhn makes a flush on the river, and now Xuan is really going to want to bluff at this pot here. He has the ace of clubs blocker. He's just rechecking. Yup, it's still there, Xuan. If I were Xuan, I would be betting big, and he checks. I wonder if Xuan is thinking about maybe going for a check raise on this river. Wow, Jason Kuhn bets 2 million chips here.
2 million.
And Xuan quickly folds. I think if I were Xuan, I probably would have been all in there and all out of the tournament.
All in.
All in.
Kuhn just moving all in with ace-jack. Swanton with a tough decision here with pocket nines. He lets it go. Swanton, just thinking he was a little bit too deep to call with the pocket nines. Pocket nines does not have fantastic equity in this game. If he was up against a hand like Queen Jack suited, for example, he would have 43% equity. Not terrible, but not fantastic.
Raise 500. Call.
So one of the weird things about short deck is that action actually starts not on the button, but on the other player in heads up. As a result of that, players should actually be folding out of position a decent amount in heads up short deck.
Seconds. Check.
Swanton thinks for a while and then checks his top pair.
Check.
Goes check, check. Great turn for Schwan.
Bet 6.
600,000 chip bet here.
Call.
Jason Kuhn calls, but little does he know he's drawing dead going to the river. Oh man, that's a disaster river card for Kuhn.
Ante.
155 155 155
1,550,000 is the bet, and now Jason Kuhn just sighing, saying, does my opponent have a 10 here? Or is he bluffing with a hand like Jack Queen, King Queen, King Jack?
Don't think I can fold, but I don't like it. Think I'm gonna lose, but I have a full house. I call.
Kuhn begrudgingly makes the call.
Thank you, your chips. Yes. Ooh, yeah. I know. Yes. 155, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Kuhn loses a big one over to Swanton. Gets a little needle out of Schwan there. Schwantan has been doing very, very well in the cash games throughout this series, and now he's trying to cap it off by winning the final event of this series. 28.1 million Hong Kong dollars are up top. The difference between first and second place, if you're wondering, is about 10 million Hong Kong dollars. That comes out to about 1.3 million US dollars. These players are playing for a lot of money, guys.
$500. Raise 500.
Kuhn raises up Queen 10 offsuit, and Schwantan makes the call. As I was describing earlier, heads up in short deck is a little bit different because out of position actually acts first, and the button actually posts the bigger of the blinds. And as a result, players should actually fold a decent amount of hands out of position. They should also limp a whole lot. I think with a hand like Queen 10, you want to have a mixed strategy of raising and limping. But Kuhn does raise this hand. Tan with top 2 pair. Kuhn checks the flop. And even though Tan has top 2 pair, Kuhn now with the 2 straight draws, he has 43% equity. This is the hand he could choose to play fast here. And go for a check raise. It looks like he's just going to call. The turn is a queen, and now Jason Kuhn actually has more equity in the pot than Tan.
All in.
All in.
Wow, Schwantan overbets all in. This is a huge overbet shove here. This is a massive overbet shove, and Kuhn asking himself, if Schwan had a hand like Ace-7 for a straight, 7-10 for a straight, 10-Jack for a straight, would he play it like this? Would he just move all in? Kuhn uses the last of his 3 time bank chips. That'll give him 1 more minute to think this decision over. Huge decision here. Kuhn is ahead, but how could he know that? This is one of the few hands that Tan could show up with here that Kuhn is ahead of, and therefore Kuhn lets it go. I would have folded in that spot also, and a very nice shove by Schwantan. He takes down the pot, protecting his equity.
Maybe. UV?
What?
UV? I win?
Fold.
All right.
Only this hand.
Only this hand. I'll take it. A few more, hopefully.
That last pot these two players played was so interesting. I wonder how the hand would have played if Kuhn had raised the flop. I think it's likely it would have been shoved on right then and there. So Kuhn now raising up to 500,000 chips with ace-queen of clubs. This is a hand you want to raise most of the time out of position, but I would actually be limping it some of the time. Kuhn now with top pair. $330,000, a small bet here, about a third the size of the pot.
Fold.
Jason Kuhn came into this final table with a large chip lead. He played very well throughout. Tan was the most aggressive player at the final table. Now he finds himself sitting heads up against the seasoned pro Jason Kuhn. Both of these players going for the Triton Super High Roller Series event number 4 trophy. And more importantly,
Check.
28 million Hong Kong dollars are at stake. This is the 4th and final event of the 2018 Montenegro Triton Super High Roller Series.
Fold.
Tan floats the flop here with his king high.
Check.
Turns a pair of kings, checks over to Kuhn. Kuhn, though, is going to continue to fire here because he does have the 7 of spades.
Bet 500.
Now remember, in short deck, a flush beats a full house. So even if Tan already had a boat, Kuhn would still have some outs going to the river. Jason Kuhn up to 22 million chips. 72% of the chips in play.
Call.
Tan checking the 9-10. That's the flop you want to see when you have 9-10, 7-8 jack. So far,
Check.
a lot of things going right for Tan in this heads-up match. Jason Kuhn, though, does have a gut shot. Also has a backdoor spade draw that gives him 24% equity in this pot. I wonder if we'll see Kuhn check raise here or simply check call. If I were Kuhn, I'd want to raise here. Yep.
Raise 800.
Kuhn has raising chips. He makes it 800,000. And now with how close equities run in this game, I'm not sure if we're going to see Schwanton just call or re-raise. He does just call. I may have re-raised here simply because, look, Kuhn, all he has is a gut shot, but he still has 24% equity. Protecting your hand in short deck is very, very important. The turn card is a king, and if there's a good card to continue to barrel for Jason Kuhn, that's probably it.
1.5.
1.5 million chips is the bet, and Schwanton slow played the flop. I imagine we're going to see him go all in here on the turn. He has to protect the equity of his hand here. He can't slow play again. He does move all in. Jason Kuhn, not happy, lets it go. Schwanton, for the first time at this final table, up to over 10 million in chips. He has 11.2 million chips.
Just one.
They're trying to rabbit hunt.
River, come on.
Come.
It's heads up. Nobody cares.
No. Eight.
Yes. Yes, I missed. Thank you.
Miss, Flush jaw. Huh? Flush jaw?
Draw. Big draw, yes. You have anything?
As you can see now, Jason Kuhn no longer with even a 2-to-1 chip advantage over his opponent. The aggressive play of Schwanton paying off, continuing to pay off at this final table. As you can see, about a 10 million Hong Kong dollar difference between first and second place here. This is huge stakes that these guys are playing for.
I see.
I'm gonna see what he's gonna do, and then because he might raise, so it'll save everybody time if I just wait. I guess.
And look at all
Did he
those
call, or is
chips
he
that
raising?
Jason Kuhn has. I'm surprised they haven't colored up some of these chips.
Okay. 6.
Raise 6,000. 600.
Yes.
Jason Kuhn is sure raising a lot of hands in this heads-up match.
Button have to be all the time small blind.
Big blind. Button's big blind.
You sure?
Yeah, button's big blind. Yeah, it's different because the small blind or the cutoff opens this game.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's
You're
okay.
right. Sorry.
Dealer. Even the dealer is confused by the rules of short deck here. The button is the big blind. Out of position is the small blind. And action starts out of position. It makes heads up a little bit different. In a standard no-limit hold'em heads-up match, you'd see both players playing a very high VPIP. Here, when you're out of position, you should actually be folding somewhat wide range. Certainly hands like Jack 6, Jack 7 offsuit should be folds out of position. And then you should actually be limping a whole lot more. Jason Kuhn leading out with his middle pair, trying to protect his hand's equity. Schwanton, though, flopping a gut shot calls. Now Kuhn checks two pair. I don't get this check. If I were Kuhn, I would have continued to fire here. There are just so many gut shots that Schwanton could have. Kuhn checking over to Schwan on the river. Schwan has been reluctant to check the river when he has nothing.
600 bet.
And he does bet 600,000. And now Kuhn saying, would Schwan really play a 9 like this? And I think if he thinks about it deeply, the answer is likely no. Most of the 9s that Schwan Tan would have in his hand would likely bet the turn when check to.
10 seconds.
But Jason Kuhn lets it go. Nice bluff by Schwan.
Ask him. Do you want break or do you want to keep playing?
Keep playing.
Some isa?
What? Break time or no break?
I'll keep playing.
Oh, break.
You want break?
break.
Yeah. Skip.
有10分钟吧。
第一份休息位。Yeah, no more break. Continue. 如果被休息了可以繼續打，休息了可以休息10分鐘。你確定啦 ？OK。你啥啦 ？Continue。
break.
All right.
He won't break.
All right. Yeah. Take a break. Okay.
Well, these two players decide that they are going to go on break here. It's Jason Kuhn against Schwan Tan heads up to be the winner of event number 4 of the Triton Super High Roller Series. I'm Kane Callis. Stay tuned for some more high stakes heads up with 103 entries. These two players are competing for a grand prize of 28.1 million Hong Kong dollars. That comes out to 3.58 million US dollars. Very, very high stakes here. The difference between first and second place is about 10 million Hong Kong dollars. The remaining players are Jason Kuhn and Schwan Tan. Two very different players. Jason Kuhn, very top-tier no-limit hold'em tournament player. Travels all around the world playing no-limit hold'em tournaments for a living. He's considered one of the very best. He doesn't have as much short deck experience. Schwan Tan has been playing a lot of short deck lately. He's one of the biggest winners, perhaps the biggest winner in the side games that have been taking place throughout the tournament series in short deck. Neither player with a pair on this board.
Check. Showdown, please.
Next 10.
Kuhn gonna take it down with ace 10.
难透。
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Yeah, right there's great. Jack on the turn gives Schwan Tan a pair.
Kuhn still ahead with his king 9.
Check.
A couple of small pots go Kuhn's way. So if you're not familiar with the short deck rules, we have them here in the top right of your screen. You remove all deuces, threes, fours, and fives from the deck, so that gives you a 36 card deck. And all of a sudden, the ace wheel acts as a 5, so ace, 6, 7, 8, 9 gives you a wheel in this game. Also, flushes beat full houses. That's because flushes are actually quite a bit more rare in this game than full houses. And the final change in the rule are the blinds and antes. They're very strange. When you have a full table, basically everybody puts up a small blind, and then the button puts up a big blind. Here in heads up, the button still puts up a big blind, out of position puts up a small blind, and action starts on out of position. Triton with a very playable hand in short deck poker. Just some basic strategy in short deck poker. The more connected your hand is, the better. So hands like 9-10, Jack-10, Jack-Queen, these hands are very strong in short deck, and it matters less in short deck whether or not your hand is suited. Even though flushes do beat full houses, they're just so uncommon. So you can see in the middle of the table there, the Triton trophy these players are playing for. They also happen to be playing for a cool 28 million Hong Kong dollars. Jason Kuhn final tabled the opening event of this series. He took 4th place. That was also a short deck event. Although Kuhn does not have a ton of short deck experience, recently he's been playing a lot of it. I was talking to Kuhn about short deck the other day. He's putting a lot of time into his game, both on and off the felt.
$800.
There's 800.
It seems like Jason Kuhn is taking a strategy where out of position he's limping his weaker hands and raising most of his stronger hands. I think that's fine until your opponent adjusts to it. I think that based on theory, you should be having a mixed strategy with both strong hands and weak hands. So you sometimes should raise a hand like ace-queen out of position, and you sometimes should actually limp it. And I think that's even true of your strongest of hands, like pocket kings and pocket aces. So we have Swanton calling out of position here. Jason Kuhn raising it up. Jason Kuhn has been the more aggressive of these two players in the heads-up match, Swanton, especially pre-flop. Swanton, though, has been very aggressive throughout the entire final table. Here's the flop, ace, king, queen. Kuhn with top 2 pair. Checks over to Kuhn. Kuhn bets 1.2 million. This is a sizable bet. Swanton is bottom pair here with a gut shot. I imagine we'll see him continue here and heads up. No, he lets it go. He was just thinking, because Kuhn raised pre-flop, there are just so many strong hands that Kuhn can have here. Obviously, top 2, ace, queen, king, queen, 10, jack. So Schwan lets it go. All right, guys, so it's been a lot of fun. I'm going to pass over the commentary to Randy Liu. He's played millions of hands, tens of millions.
Yeah, I played 0 hands of this short deck heads up there.
Of hands of No Limit Hold'em, but he's a good enough poker mind, and you guys are in good hands. Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, Kane. Okay, so Ton Schwen here with Queen 7 of clubs. He actually has flopped a flush draw with his pair of 7s. Jason Kuhn, he's got absolute nothing. Should see Ton Schwen bet here on the river. Alright, so Ton Schwen here now, trying to decide what kind of multi-street situation he might be in. He's going to start with bet. 875,000, it's a pretty big bet. And Kuhn's going to fold pretty quickly. So he's up to 10 million chips. Alright, so heads up now.
Sorry? Whoa, new deck. Yo, new deck.
New deck.
New deck.
New deck, please.
All right, so here's the table chip counts. 2-1 chip lead. Jason Kuhn with 20 million. Tan Schwen here with 10 million chips. 300 antes in play. Winfred Yu, the 4th place finisher. Phil Ivey, the 3rd place finisher. 13 million Hong Kong dollars for him. That's 1.66 million. Phil Ivey, he won this event, event number 1. He won 600,000 US roughly. He's picked up another 1.66 million in short deck. Now we're going to crown a champion. 3.58 million for champion and 2.3 million USD for the runner-up right now. So
Set. Okay.
So we are playing short deck for anyone who's joining us now. Short deck, removing the 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s from the deck. A flush beats a full house in this game. An ace can make a low straight acting as a 5. So if it comes 6, 7, 8, 9, you have an ace in your hand. You actually have a straight. Kuhn's going to limp here on the button. Tan Schwen here with a6, top pair. And Kuhn's the one betting out here with flush draw. He is the first one to act. Tan Schwen here probably gonna just call. You know, don't want to overplay your hand and get blown off of it in case Kuhn wants to get pretty frisky with 2 diamonds. Turns a jack. Actually a reasonable card for Kuhn to bet again because Tan Schwen, he's got like any 2 on the dealer button, so he's going to have a lot of trash hands like Queen 6 offsuit, King 6 offsuit, things that can't really handle 2 barrels. So I would like to see Kuhn consider betting again, and he is going to bet just 200,000. I wish he bet a little bit more to kind of shake some of these hands because the price is so good for Tan Schwen here. He is probably slightly suspicious given that the price is so good. He can beat some hands like diamond draws or just pure air. So he does make the call. River is a 10, so it's a straight on the board. Now only if someone's got 2 clubs they'll win this pot. It goes check. Now Tan Schwen here on the river needing to decide, should he try and move Kuhn off of a chop right now and maybe put in like an overbet of like 3 million roughly, or is he sometimes getting trapped? So he is thinking about it. I like that he's not snap checking it back. I think it's a really nice bet. He's going for a big bet. He just has a pot size bet, about 1.3 million. I don't think Kuhn will fold to this because of how hard it is to make a flush. I do like that he is betting the river. This is a shot clock tournament.
Queen X of clubs or ace X of clubs, right?
But Queen X of clubs and ace X of clubs is the hands he's worried about. Alright, he's going to make the call, and they're going to chop it up.
Flush. No slow roll, right?
You're right.
No, you slow roll?
You're right.
You have
You're
flush?
right.
Chop, chop, chop. Yeah, I hope you're not slow roll. Okay.
Oh, fuck.
The Chinese slow roll did not happen.
Oh, gee. Yeah. Oh. Scared me. Very scared. Scared.
So, just a reminder, the small blind, it's actually the cutoff, which acts first. is in a disadvantaged position because they're going to play post flop out of position throughout the hand, and they have to act first out of position, which is not traditional in normal no limit hold'em. So it's going to go check check. Flop comes Jack, Jack 8 rainbow. Tan Xuan doesn't have too much. He is the first one to act. He's going to fire out here. And Kuhn, he's got a straight draw. Needs to decide does he want to play it fast. He's just going to call. He's got the position, so he really doesn't need to raise in position. You always see Tan Xuan act first, and then if he feigns weakness, or just, if he acts weak, then he can take a stab at it. Tan Xuan actually has the best hand of King Queen. Jason Kuhn with just 10 high. Probably going to bet at this one. But he's actually going to check, and river comes an ace. So Tan here got king high. Probably going to check. Now Kuhn, I think he just needs to bet. He loses to too many hands, like random hands. So he's going to fire. 500,000. Now Tan here, he beats hands like 10-9, 9-7, queen 9, like all these little straight draws right now. 7-9, 7-10, 10-9. And he's probably going to make a call here of king high. He beats so many draws. He loses to an 8, an ace, or a jack. But we know a jack is very unlikely. An 8 might even not bet this river. So he's going to make the call of king high.
Good, my friend.
Very nice call down by Tan Xuan there, closing the gap. He's got 11 million chips now. So this heads-up match has a lot of grinding in there, a lot of adapting. Jason Kuhn with 19.7 million chips. Tan Xuan with 11 million chips. Calling of king high is something you just have to do in this heads-up match. Because if you're only trying to make top-tier hands in heads-up as if you were playing a final table, you're going to be over-folding a ton. So it's good to be able to play short-handed when you're playing for the most amount of money now. So Jack 6 offsuit, pretty much one of the worst hands in this game. The other one being 6-7 offsuit. 6-7 offsuit probably worse than heads up. Jack 6 offsuit would be worse in a ring game. So he flops 2 pair though. And Kuhn has top pair for queen kicker. He's going to check out a position. Tan Xuan here is going to value bet here. Too many hands that his opponent could have. In this game, generally, you do not want to be slow playing. So Kuhn here of top pair queen kicker. He knows his opponent can have any 2 cards, so he's not going to raise. Because he doesn't want to get in against 2 pairs. Turns a 9. Hit some of the straights out there. Now some of these straights like 7-5 and 10-7, or no, 7 ace and 10-7. These are hands that aren't that playable in multi-way, but they're heads up, so it's very easy for someone to be playing these cards. And Kuhn's actually leading out 300,000 into 1 million. So Tan Xuan here is a little bit worried about 10-7 and queen 10 type hands, but Kuhn is leading kind of small. So he actually might not be as worried about it and might think this is more of a value blocker bet. But he's just going to call and try to react on a river. River cards a 7, so brings a 4 straight out there. Now a 10 makes a straight and an ace would make a straight. Ace acting as a 5. Jason Kuhn here probably doesn't think he can get much value by betting. Should be checking here. I think this will go check check a lot. Too easy for your opponent to have a straight. maybe Jason Koon's realizing that maybe his Queen Jack isn't the best hand here too often and might turn his hand into a bluff. He is going to reach for chips. Or is that? 400. It's kind of a blocking bet, just 400,000. I wouldn't really call this a bluff, given that there's 1.6 million before he bet in the pot, 25%. I mean, it's a weird situation. Tan Xuan here is like, man, this is just such a small bet. He does have top and bottom pair, so occasionally Koon is value betting a middle two pairs, and he's gonna win that pot. So nice call there with two pairs on such a connected board. But with that sizing, you just can't fold top and bottom pair because occasionally your opponent has a hand like 9-8, two pair block betting. So these guys have been playing so long at this final table today. But now it's not really the time to get tired. They are playing for a difference of $1.28 million right now. That is in US dollars.
Cool.
A difference of 10 million Hong Kong dollars. That's 10 bullets into this tournament.
Raise 800.
Tan Xuan here is one of the best short deck hold'em players in the scene, in the game. Primarily a cash game player. A bit unknown in no limit tournament scenes, but if you underestimate this guy, you will not be doing very well with your bankroll. Tan Xuan here is re-raising here to 4 million. 4.1 million. Just ace 10. It's not even a premium hand. Jason Koon with 10-9 offsuit. It's not that great of a hand when you gotta face 4 million chips. This is the type of hand you want to see a flop with, not get all in pre-flop with. So Jason Koon's thinking about it.
10 seconds.
He's got no more time bank chips, so he needs to act quickly.
2, 1.
He's gonna lay that hand down, and Tan Xuan being aggressive is ace queen.
Ace K? 10, you have ace king?
Did not have ace king, not even close. You got one card right, Jason. Jason's got a mountain of chips, but Tan Schwender's got 13 million now, catching up. So Koon's just gonna call. A lot of players have just been calling from out of position.
Check.
So Tan Xuan here doesn't have anything. Koon's gonna try to find a way to induce some bluff somehow. It's a 300,000 bet, but that's not gonna work. Action's gonna be on Tan Schwen with Ace King offsuit.
Call.
He's gonna limp.
Check. Check. Bet 300.
300,000 from Tan Schwen here. Just has Ace King high. Kuhn actually has a pair of sixes with a straight draw, so he's gonna call. River is a 7, so Tan Schwen will need to bet one more time to get Kuhn off of a pair of sixes. Not too often your opponent just has bottom pair. He needs to decide what kind of hands would Kuhn call him on a turn with. A 10 makes a lot of sense. Could have a hand like 10-7, 10-6 of course. So these are hands he'd want to try and bluff him off of, or like a 9. So both players have no time bank, so they gotta act quickly. Jason Kuhn here actually might want to consider turning his hand into a bluff. He does have the best hand, but he does know that bottom pair generally doesn't win too often in this game, and you can get your opponents to fold a lot of middling pairs.
I can't win often.
But he's gonna check.
Check.
He's gonna show him Ace King high.
I can win sometimes. No. Oh, set. SK. Sneaky. That wasn't friendly.
Call.
Alright, so on to the next hand. Tan Schwen here is going to raise the limp. I doubt Jason Kuhn will fold King 10. So he's going to limp call out of position. We do not know Tan Schwen's other card right now. Could be a lot of hands actually. But Jason Kuhn's flop trip kings. This is the final tournament of the series. Such a big prize pool. Tan Schwen's going to bet here on the flop. 950,000.
Bet 950.
Jason Kuhn here with trip kings. Does he want to raise or just call here? Both options pretty good. Looks like he's gonna actually reach for raising chips. No, those are calling chips.
Call.
So he's gonna try to look like he's got a queen in his hand. Oftentimes Tan Schwen will try and barrel him off a queen, because when you raise a guy who limps, you're representing a hand like Ace King a lot. We know Tan Schwen cannot have Ace King. So Tan Schwen here. When the queen pairs, I really don't think you should be... I mean, I don't know Tan Schwen's other card. There's a chance he's got King 10 as well. But this is generally, he is going to bet again. Generally, you're not going to bet on a double paired board too often because your opponent usually won't be folding a full house. But he is betting on the turn again, which is interesting. Now Kuhn here just needs to take as much time as he can and try to pretend he's got a queen. So he's going to make a quick call. 1.5 million going in there. He's trying to represent a queen because occasionally, if say Tan Xuan was actually bluffing, he might try and barrel him off a queen because it's just wouldn't. It's very easy for someone to have a king to make a better hand. The river is a 7, doesn't change anything. Tan Xuan would need king 10 as well, the final king, in order to chop this pot. Kuhn's gonna check one more time. No, he's actually gonna lead. This is interesting. So he limp called pre-flop, he check called the flop, he check called the turn, and now he's actually gonna bet lead here. He thinks this is the most bluffy line he can take. Tan Xuan here now is probably a bit confused. Why is Kuhn check calling, and then leading less than what he bet on the turn? But this is a 30-second shot clock tournament, so he might not have enough time to figure out why he's doing this. And he's going to let Tan Xuan fold his hand. I would have loved to see Kuhn check one more time, because if your opponent is betting again on a double paired board like this, they often don't have the top full house, because if Tan Xuan actually had a king in that hand, he probably wouldn't bet the turn too often, because when Jason Kuhn check calls that flop, he can have a straight draw like Jack 9, 10, 9, you know, something that would turn his hand into a bluff when it goes check check on the turn. So I'm not really a big fan of the river lead by Kuhn. But this is a shot clock tournament, so people are going to deviate from standard plays. Some 96 million Hong Kong dollars in the prize pool, 103 entries. This is a big tournament for 127,000 USD buy-in. Queen 8 of clubs for Tan. He's probably gonna limp here.
Cool.
Jason Kuhn of Ace Jack. He's gonna raise this one up, isolate in position. Thinks he's got the best hand. Oh, he's just gonna call. Oh, wait, I'm a little bit confused. So he just calls or just checks it with Ace Jack. I think it's a strong enough hand to raise, but he thinks otherwise. Now Tan Xuan here, Queen 8. He's flopped a flush draw. He's going to bet out. Jason Kuhn's going to raise top pair, top kicker right now. He's not even worried about the 7. Tan Xuan here with a flush draw. Let's see if he decides to play back at this or just call. He's just going to call because he is worried that Kuhn could actually have a 7, given that he's on a dealer button, he can have any 2 cards.
Check.
A flush does beat a full house in this format. So Jason Koon turns top 2 pair, and he's going to fire 1.2 million chips right now.
1.2.
Jason Koon actually did cash the 250,000 short deck event. Event number 1, he got 4th place, looking for a championship now in the bigger buy-in event.
Cool.
And Tan Xuan calls again with Queen 8. If he's up against a full house, he can still beat it if he makes a flush. River's a queen, so it just pairs his queen.
Check.
The ace of clubs would have been the nastiest card out there. He goes check, check. Yeah, the ace of clubs. That would have been a fun one. So Tan Xuan here loses 22% of his stack. He's gonna get a walk.
打了1300打下来了，赢他600万又输回去了。
So just to repeat, they're playing for a difference of $1.28 million right now. Each guaranteed 2.3 million US dollars. This is a good weekend for both of them. And another walk. This will be the Triton 1 million Hong Kong dollar short deck buy-in here. There's a trophy. 2018 Super High Roller Series. They're going to run another event in Jeju in July. Would love for you guys to watch our stream there as well. Jason Koon with 10-9 offsuit, going to raise it up. Tan Xuan with 7-6 of hearts. Going to try and see a flop. It's not the best hand, but it is suited. Both players not flopping too well. Koon pairs his 9, and he's going to bet out here. This is the raised pot. All of the raised pots, generally, they are fighting for it because they are much larger. So he's going to bet 800,000 here. Tan Xuan actually has an inside straight draw, in case you're wondering. An 8 would make a straight because it'll be 6, 7, 8, 9, ace. Ace acting as a 5, but he just folds.
200.
So Tan Schwen here is betting with his inside straight draw, but Kuhn again picks up trip kings right now.
Nice.
And he's raising.
600.
Now, Tan Schwen's probably thinking, why would Jason Kuhn raise a king? Wouldn't he try and slow play his hand? So that's why Kuhn raised, because he doesn't think his opponent would read into his raise as strength. The queen on the turn. Tan Schwen makes the nut straight, but Jason Kuhn has a full house. This is the perfect card you're trying to hit when you chase the flop with Jack 10. Jason Kuhn with a boat here. If they want to get all the chips in, they could. This could be over right now in this hand. 1.2 million in.
Bet 1.2.
Tan Schwen, he's got a straight. He bet 200 on the flop, called a raise, turned the best card for his hand. Now he's in a spot for his tournament life right now, drawing dead. If he just calls, there's a chance that there's some cards on the river that might save him, like a king, an ace. He does go all in. Jason Kuhn calls, and this is over. Tan Schwen is drawing dead, going into the river. Shows Jack 10. Jason Kuhn is going to be the winner. Tan Schwen played very well this final table. Shaking hands, very well played. Tan Schwen here came to short stack to this final table. Cashes for 18 million Hong Kong dollars. Wins 2.3 million USD. Jason Kuhn is relieved. He wins 28 million Hong Kong dollars, 3.58 million USD. They just played for 1.2 million. Heads up.
Yeah, let's go.
Jason
Let's
Kuhn.
get you out of here. I know it's been a long night.
Did you shake your hands with your guy?
Yeah, we shook hands already. Yeah.
Here's the interview
Thanks, man. Appreciate
with
it.
Jason
Hey,
Kuhn,
thanks.
the champion.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Jason, are you awake?
I'm so tired. I mean, my body's just, it's been tired for 4 days. The amount of stress that, I mean, it's good stress, but like these stakes, you know, they take a toll on you, especially, yeah, being in a final table like this. It was a real challenge for me, physically and mentally.
You're just gonna go and pass out for a week?
I probably won't be able to sleep for like 5 hours. You know how that is. Like, you're so wound up on adrenaline. But yeah, once I fall asleep, I don't know when I'm gonna wake up. But yeah, I can't. I'm really happy we got that done.
This is the biggest cash you've ever had?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to have a bigger cash than that one in a poker tournament. Was it like 3.5 million or something? Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Has it sunk in? What do you?
We just
how
had
do you
like
feel about
15 seconds ago, and I was playing a player who's much better than I am, at least shorthanded, much more experienced, and really talented in cash games. And I just coolered him to end the tournament. And yeah, I'm glad it worked out that way, because it could have been a really long night. I know he was in for the long haul. He was trying to play small pots, and as he should. I think he definitely had an edge on me.
How was the final table overall for you? A lot of top players.
Yeah, it was tough. You know, there were some ups and some downs. It was nice to get momentum and just be able to wield my stack and then win all ends. I won that flip against Winfred, and then absolutely just, obviously, I don't know what my equity is, Jack 10 against Jacks, but it can't be more than like 38% or something. And to beat Phil, you know, one of the best players in the world, maybe top 3 best strip deck or short deck players in the world. Yeah, just, you know,
Nice brag.
there's a lot of run good at these final tables, and I ran good from the first hand of this tournament. I doubled the first hand I played this tournament.
And here we are.
And here I am, yeah.
What's next?
Sleep, lots of sleep, and then go home and play the Super High Roller Bowl, which feels like small stakes after being here, you know. But yeah, that's what's on the agenda.
Just grind, grind, grind. Well, congratulations one more time,
Thank you.
and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thanks.
So that was Jason Kuhn live from the Maestro Resort and Casino. That is our final event, the million Hong Kong dollar buy-in. Congratulations to our champion, 28 million Hong Kong dollars, winning 3.58 million USD. His biggest cash at the Triton Super High Roller Series here in Montenegro. Want to wish you guys good night. This has been a great tournament series, big stakes, big cash games, everything. We are running another series in Jeju in July in South Korea. We hope you guys watch that stream. Thank you. This has been Randy Liu, Nanonoko. Hope you guys enjoyed my commentary as well as Kane Callis all throughout this week. Thank you guys so much. We'll get you guys more content as soon as we can. Follow Triton Poker on Twitter at Triton Poker and use the hashtag TritonSHR. Give them your suggestions. Tell them who you want to see in Jeju. And we'll see you guys again soon. Bye, guys.